Two sit bones on the mat. Getting loose, finding our breath, finding ourselves. Nice comfortable seat, hands on the knees. Gaze forward, eyes easy. Deep inhale. Release. Deep inhale. And release the breath. 2 more times. Deep inhale. Release. Final breath. Deep inhale. And we're going to release. Take our hands up to the sky. Fall back, strong shoulders. Gaze forward. Clasp our hands. Just find some space on our left and right side. Finding our breath, finding our center. Taking that right hand to the mat, we're going to open up the left side body. So find some opening on that left side. Real strong on the mat. And releasing both hands up high. Again, taking that left hand to the mat. Finding our breath, finding our center. And releasing both hands high. We're going to take that right hand right behind the left hand to the knee. Nice little twist. Torso, gaze to the back of the room. And our breath. And then release both hands up high, taking that right hand to the left knee, left hand, back of the room. Sitting up tall, gaze to the back, finding our center. Deep inhale. Release both hands high. We're going to take both hands behind us, so fingers facing backwards, and just kind of open up that right front side of the body, open up the shoulders, gaze to the sky. And then release both hands up high, taking both hands forward, finding some opening in that backside body. Pushing forward. And then release one more time. Hands up high, right hand to the mat, opening that left side body. And then release both hands up high, left hand to the mat, opening the right side body. And then releasing both hands high, taking that left hand to the right knee. And a nice little twist of the torso, gaze to the back of the room. Finding your breath. And then release both hands up high, taking that right hand to the left knee. Nice twist of the torso. Finding your breath. And release both hands up high. And then we'll meet on our hands and knees to find a nice cow pose. So shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. We're just going to find some movement, flaring the head, opening the shoulders up high. Find our cat, releasing the shoulders and the head. Find our cow. We're just going to find some movement, lifting the head and shoulders high. Picking up the pace, moving at your. And when you're ready, we're just going to find some movement. Feels good to you. So moving the shoulders forward, moving the shoulders backwards. If you want to walk hands a little bit forward, walk the hands a little bit backwards. We're trying to find some easy movement before we find ourselves in our first pose of the day, downward facing dog.
You're ready, we'll meet in a nice downward facing dog, flipping the toes, pushing into the palms to lift the hip up high, slight bend of the knees. Finding our breath, finding our center. And then gently pushing the shoulders and the head forward to find ourselves in a plank pose. Strong in the hands, strong in the balls of the feet. And then when you're ready, we're just going to lower all the way down flat. Hands in line with your shoulders. Setting up for our first low cobra pose. So gently pushing into our fingers and our palms to lift the heads and the shoulders high. And then when you're ready, release. And flipping the toes, pushing into our fingers and our palms to find ourselves in a plank pose. And then back to downward facing dog. Finding our breath, getting centered, taking that right leg high, right leg opening the hip, finding some movement in that right hip. Then extending the right leg long, right leg down, that, taking that left leg high, left leg opening the hip, finding some movement in that left hip, then extending left leg long, back down to the mat. We're going to get easy, lowering the knees, walk or hop all the way forward to the top of the mat. Find ourselves in a nice forward fold. Getting strong in our feet. Maybe you want to grab opposite side elbows. Maybe you want to take your hands side under your toes. Just try to find a nice little stretch in the back side body. And then when you're ready, releasing the bind, hands on the shins for a halfway lift. Really strong, lifting that upper torso. Finding that breath, finding your center. And releasing the hands down to find ourselves in the forward fold. Bending the knees, circle our hands all the way up high. And then releasing the hands down to a forward fold. We'll meet in a plank pose, lowering the shoulders and the head down to find ourselves in chaturanga, flipping the toes, upward facing dog, back to downward facing dog. And take that right leg high, right leg forward, find ourselves in a nice crescent lunge pose, both feet forward, bringing that upper torso high, hands up high. We're going to take that clasp of the hands, just really finding some length and movement in that front body, really strong in the feet. Gaze to the sky. Then when you're ready, hands at heart center. We're going to take a nice little twist of the upper torso, left elbow outside the right knee. Finding your balance. Finding your center. The wiggling is good. And when you're ready, we're going to gently unhook the bind, taking that torso high, releasing the hands, taking those hands to the mat, right leg to meet the left, to find ourselves in plank pose. We're going to lower down chaturanga, upward facing dog, back to downward facing dog. Finding our breath, getting centered, taking that left leg high, left leg to the front of the mat to find ourselves in a nice crescent lunge. Finding our stability, taking that upper torso high. We're going to take our hands up high, finding the clasp, opening that front body, long, finding some length. Finding our center. Taking hands at heart center, and take that right elbow right outside left knee. And a nice little twist of the torso. In your breath, getting centered, and then gently unhooking that clasp, making that upper body high, releasing the bind, taking both hands to the mat, left leg to the right to find ourselves in a plank pose. We're going to lower down chaturanga, flipping the toes, upward facing dog, back to downward facing dog. Really strong in the balls of our feet, in the palms. We're going to bend the knees, an easy walk or hop all the way to the front of the mat to find ourselves in a forward fold. Hands on the shins, halfway lift. Release, forward fold, hands all the way up high. Then we'll meet nice Tadasana pose, facing forward, and some stability. Find our tree pose. So left foot is the tree, taking that right leg, front thigh, or the inside of the thigh. Just not on the knee, hands at heart center, or hands up high. Finding your breath, getting centered. Deep inhale. And then release, releasing that right foot to the mat. And then finding some movement, left or right. Setting up on the right side, tree pose. Right foot is the tree. Taking that left leg to the front of the thigh or inside of that thigh, just above the knee. Finding some opening in the hip, hands at heart center or hands up high. Finding our breath, in our center. Inhale, and release, releasing that left foot to the mat. Shake it out, moving right, moving left. And then when you're ready, we're going to find some length in our feet. Nice little star pose. So feet facing forward, hands out like a star, gaze to the sky, just really strong in the feet. Just try to find some length in the head, the shoulders, all the way from the toes to the tip of the fingers. Finding your breath, centered. And then release, finding a bend of the knees, right? And take that right elbow and just find some movement to the left. Right shoulder high, dipping left shoulder, finding some movement. At your pace, you're just going to find some movement, dipping those shoulders. You're ready. And stretch it long. Find ourselves star pose. And when you're ready, shorten our step. Ourselves in a nice crouch yogi squat. So stretch, bringing the knees wide, feet facing out, using those elbows, open the hips, hands at heart center. Trying to find our balance with our breath. Breathing in, deep inhale, and then release. Again, deep inhale, and then release. Last one, deep inhale, then release, and then we're going to gently loosen the bind, pushing into our feet to lift the body up high, stretching long. Then feet on our mat in a nice little child's pose. So knees out wide, feet touching together. Just gonna take our hands up high. And lower upper body down in between thighs. Find ourselves in a nice child's pose. And find some length in that upper body. Finding your breath. Find some movement to the right side body. So just kind of moving hands and the upper torso to the right. Open the left side. Length. Then back to center. Finding some movement to the left side, opening the right side. Finding your breath. And then back to center. And then we're going to get on all fours. Meet on our backs. Stretching the body long. From tip of your toes, through the hips, through the shoulders, through the crown of your head. So just trying to find some length on our backs while finding our breath. And then when you're ready, we'll find ourselves in a nice bridge pose. So taking both feet and finding a nice bend of the knee, head and shoulders, floor, gently pressing into the balls of our feet, palms of our hands, shoulders, to lift the hips up high, finding our breath, finding our center, find ourselves in a bridge pose. And then release, ground, movement in the knees, windshield wiper right, windshield wiper to the left. Ready, setting up for another bridge pose. So pushing into the hands and shoulders to lift the hips up high. Remembering to breathe. Ready, we'll release all the way down to the mat. windshield wiper to the right, windshield to the left. And then setting up for our final bridge pose. And if it's in your practice to do a full wheel, good time to do that here. Then when you're ready, releasing it all the way down to the mat, stretching the hands, the legs long, finding our breath, getting centered. We're going to take that right knee into our chest. And then we're going to take that left knee into our chest, so both knees into our chest. And then moving both legs up high, length, hamstrings, and then pulling the legs down, knees into our chest, finding a nice, comfortable movement of our backs. And our breath. And then we're going to release it all the way down to the mat. Taking that right knee in, and you're going to move opposite side of your body. Find some nice little twist of the torso and the legs. Gaze to the right side. And release back to center. Right leg long. Taking that left knee into our chest. Taking that upper torso to the right side. Gaze, left side. And some nice little twist. Release back to center. Releasing the left leg long. Then we're going to set up for a nice little happy baby pose. So taking both hands to the balls of your feet, opening the hips long, nice little movement of the back side. And some movement left, right. Nice little hip opener. And when you're ready, stretching the legs long, we're going to meet a nice comfortable seat to find some nice easy movement. Taking both hands up high, finding some length, torso, gaze, right. Taking that right hand to the mat, opening the left side. Bring your breath. Release both hands up high, taking that left hand to the mat, opening the right side. Release both hands up high, then taking that right hand to the back of the mat, left hand to meet by the knee, gaze, and this. Then releasing the twist, hands up high, taking that right hand, knee, twist, torso. Release hands up high, and take both hands
Plane the back, the room, opening shoulders, gaze up high. Releasing the hands up high, taking both hands to the front of the room, opening the back shoulder. And then hands up high. So one more time, right hand to the mat, opening the left side body. Releasing the right hand, both hands high, left hand to the mat, finding length in that right side body. Releasing that left hand, both hands high, nice twist of the torso, right hand, room. Release, finding the other side. Release, both hands high, finding some length at front side, so hands behind your back. Opening in the front side of the body. And then release both hands up high, finding length at back side body. And release both hands on the knees. We're going to find ourselves in a nice Shavasana pose. So release all the way down to the mat. Maybe you want to be in a child's pose. We'll just take 60 seconds. Find ourselves. Release it all the way down to the mat. Finding length. Finding your center. Shavasana. Let it all go. Gaze in the sky. And when you're ready, you want to find some movement of the hands, movement of the toes. Maybe taking both knees up high, moving to the right side. When you're ready, we'll find ourselves a nice, comfortable seat. Taking both hands to heart center. Thank you for allowing me to practice with you today. Namaste. Be well. See you Thursday.